What is going on, guys? Money Webby here, back again on Monday with a nice 9-game slate here tonight. Definitely some solid games, and I got it broken down for you with 6 of my favorite plays on the board. My money's 6, so before we get going, be sure to slap a like in the video. It really helps me out. Really appreciate it, so thank you if you can do that. And if you happen to be new here to the channel, definitely subscribe. To continue to get these videos every single day. I do these videos for every NBA slate except on Sundays. So if you want to continue to get my research information and just some solid advice to make you a better DFS player, definitely subscribe. But let's get into it, though. My first guy up is going to be Nikola Jokic. They haven't allowed too many DraftKings points to centers, but Milwaukee is still a weak defense going against centers. They just played the other day between the Nuggets and Milwaukee, and Jokic was playing pretty well. It's just that his rebound total was a little bit lower than normally we're seeing. He got 20.6 rebounds and 6 assists, and he played a few less minutes due to them being down by a good enough margin where they pulled their starters with a few minutes left. So I think this game could stay a little bit closer throughout. It should be one of the higher scoring games of the night. And I think Jokic could have a little bit more ability with his rebound total. I could see him getting over 20 points in the field, double-digit rebounds and a good amount of assists as well. So at 9,500, I think he can get us around 50 DraftKings points in this game to get us over 5 times value. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in Jokic there. And for my second guy, going to go with another big boy here, Marcus Aldridge at $8,000 going against New Orleans. Pelicans defense hasn't been very good recently, and they need some offense to keep up with this Pelicans offense. And I think Marcus Aldridge will continue to be that second go-to guy behind DeRozan. He's been really struggling from the field, except last night where he got it going a little bit more going against Golden State. So I'm hoping he can carry that over into this game. A team against the Pelicans where he played pretty damn well against. He had 52% shooting from the field, 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists. Good for 47 DraftKings points. So I could see a very similar line to that. And also his rebounding totals in the last few games have been really high. So it just really comes down to if he can get us around like 18 to 20 points scoring. Then if he can do that, then he should be able to return value at $8,000 in a game that should be high scoring. Similar to these other games where they've had to score a lot. He's normally done pretty good. There haven't been that many, I guess, recently where they've been extremely high scoring. And he's kind of been doing a little bit bad recently, but I think he'll get it going here against the Pelicans, who have been a little bit out of sorts defensively. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in Aldridge there. And for my third guy, I'm going to go with Nikola Mirotic here. Another Nikolai to add with Jokic. And at 7,100, his price tag just seems a little bit cheap for a guy that has double-double ability. Actually very similar to kind of Aldridge, where he's been very consistent and good with his rebounds recently. And if he can just hit a few shots, and he could return value at this price tag. Like, this was a guy that was hovering around $8,000 for a good portion of the year, and he's been averaging 40 DraftKings points in the whole entire year. So at 7,100, the price tag just seems pretty cheap. His minutes have been trending back up. Against the Knicks, he had a little bit less minutes because he wasn't shooting too good, but I think he can get it going here. Their defense against like stretch guys for the Spurs haven't been great, so I think Mirotic can get it going here from 3. Normally shooters hit their shots more at home. It hasn't been the case for him this year, but I think he could have another good game in this one, coming off a good effort with 44 DraftKings points against the Pelicans. A pretty solid defense against power forwards. This matchup should be a little bit easier, and also the Spurs are on a back-to-back, so maybe their rotations to a guy like Mirotic in the three-point line aren't as quick. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there. Hope for around 40 DraftKings points out of him. Then I'm going to go with DeAaron Fox. I'm not sure if they messed up his price tag, but when I saw this price at 6,100, it's just way too cheap. Going against OKC and a guy like Dennis Schroeder, who is not a good defender, I think DeAaron Fox can definitely take advantage of this matchup. And this is another guy that played extremely well in their first matchup. He dropped 22 points, 10 assists, and 4 rebounds. Played 40 minutes. So they want him on the court a lot, I guess, in this matchup, and you don't blame him. He's coming off a game against the Rockets where it was a blowout, so he didn't get as much run. But normally in these games that are close, I think this game should stay close without Russell Westbrook. He's been getting upwards of 35 minutes, so I think he can see some more run here in this game. And when he's on the court a lot, he fills it up in every category for the most part. Like if you see his game logs, 46, 38, 38, 44 in the last 4 out of 5 games that have been close. So like I said, if it just stays close, Fox is going to easily return value at 6,100. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my fourth guy. Then I'm going to go with Jeremy Lamb. He's finally getting starter minutes here. Recently in the last 2 games, he's been playing pretty well. He started off really hot against the 76ers and kind of cooled down as the game went on because Kemba just went into God mode. But I think he can have another solid game here. He got 32 minutes against the Cavs and 40 against the 76ers. That game did go to OT. So if you subtract the 5 minutes from OT, then he got 35 minutes. So like the last 2 games, solid minutes. And going against the Celtics here, he will have the best matchup in the court. As the Celtics struggle primarily against shooting guards, that's kind of where they allow their most points. So I think Lamb could have some pressure taken off him by the Kemba directing most of the attention of the defense. And then Kemba can kick it out to a guy like Lamb. If he can just hit his shots, then he can have a really good game here and continue to add to his good streak of games. He's gotten 29, over 25 DraftKings points the last 4 games. So at 5,100, if you can make that a fifth with over 25 DraftKings points, it'll have some nice solid value. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my final guy of the core 5. And then this is going to be a very obvious play, but I got to mention him. Tyreke Evans. Victor Oladipo is just ruled out. I was actually getting ready to record and I saw that news, so it kind of worked out good. And Tyreke Evans, he's going to be trying to fill that Victor Oladipo role where he's just the number 1 scorer on the offense, I would imagine. The matchup isn't great. Utah does have some solid defense for the most part, but I think Tyreke Evans is just such an underrated and good scorer where I think he can just do enough at 4,100. Be able to score over 15 points. He's a solid passer as well. He's an underrated passer who was really good with the Grizzlies last year. So 4,100, and when Tyreke Evans gets his minutes, normally he's able to return some value. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my final guy, the money 6. And that leaves you with 5,000 remaining per player with some guys with great upside. Fox could go for 40. Lamb could go for 30. Mirotic could go for 40. Aldridge could honestly go for 50. Jokic could go for 50, maybe even 60. And Evans could honestly go for 30, maybe even 40 if he's feeling himself here tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Slap a like I said, if you did. Really appreciate it. And definitely subscribe if you haven't already. And after you subscribe, hit that bell icon and never miss these videos. So good luck here tonight. And we'll see you back here again next time.